Now continuing, let's look at another day. I'm going to show you a whole bunch of patterns. You can make trading the markets really simple if you can understand it's if you can just identify either patterns in price or patterns in an indicator and then have pre-built ATMs that are appropriate for the distance from pattern typical entry points to pivots for the instrument and time frame you're on, you're golden. So using indicators combined together to help you see patterns to then go and take action and execute on those patterns over and over again. So now here would be something I'd be paying attention to. This is US Central Time. We're coming in, 7:10 in the morning, 7:15. Market crawls up, 8:30 open takes place. There's a little bit of lift. There's some selling out of the open, and then right after the open, about 8:36, I get a W pattern in price after, intraday sweep of level, probably nothing, prominent, but, took out a level and it's lifting. Now here you can see how the grid cloud is not both lines are between the bottom of price and the top of the dots of the MA. So that's not terrible. I mean, it's still workable. You're getting lift and your entry is about in this area of price. So again, this isn't a these patterns aren't about getting in super early on the turn for the time frame I'm on. I'm way up on the 88 Renko. So you can dial it down. So you might like the 70 better, or the 75 or the 80 or the 90 or whatever. This is just a good one more or less to capture some of the bigger moves on the day. So W pattern price, we get the flip and so on. Now another pattern, and other people have used this term before, but like the lightning bolt, they'll have indicators where you kind of see a lightning bolt. There's a lightning bolt pattern there. There's a lightning bolt pattern there. Lightning bolt, beautiful. They're beautiful trend continuation signals. So what does that mean? So this is a okay signal here. This short here, if you wanted to be a seller of the market, is more the pattern I like, where I see the two lines coming through. And basically what it is, I'm watching the plot of the line that's closest to price. And if I start seeing the second portion of the indicator line plot, just thinking about piercing, and I can tell that it's going to be inside of the grid MA and between price, I'll get actionable and I'll throw on a position. And these are, I'm taking a shot at the market. If let's say this was like a really key level, we tested it, it's rotating, I want to be a seller, I come in, and for this amount of price distance, that's not a whole lot of price distance in my intended direction. So it's real simple. I have my stop at break even plus. I'm sorry, I have my stop. In this case, the distance from an entry here up to here to me is too much. Now the distance from here to maybe half that, or the highest point in the cloud before my entry, that's about the most I'd ever want to risk. So if I get into the trade and then we rotate and I get dual greens, I just let go. So it's starting to get what could be a counter signal. Early in the trade, I let go. I'm not going to let it go all the way up and hit my stop. It's just like, nah, it didn't work out. Because the good trades will right away run away from you, and then you can move your stop to break even, and then the market will do whatever it does. It's either going to stop you out quick, come back, might give one more signal, and then that signal finally runs, or it just runs away from you, and any pullbacks don't hit your stop, and then you can chase price as it runs away from your intended or in your intended trade direction. But these lightning bolts are, we've established an uptrend. We had a W pattern, lift. We had a pullback in the cloud back to green. So some of you that are Johnny on the spot, you might want to engage the trade on a market that's stair-stepping higher. Price gave you a pullback, it's lifting, and then you go from dual reds back to dual greens. Okay, I'm going to get in, I'm going to put a stop, not much, and I'm going to see what happens, and then, basically works its way away from you over time. And then there's the lightning bolt trade. Market's, pretty linear. It has a period of a bit of a pullback in price. See how price has a bit of a pullback, lift, and the indicator will make what looks like a little lightning bolt. So as it's completing that upper leg of an upward lightning bolt and you're getting an upward closing candle, that's an area where you could get into a trend continuation trade. Stop below most recent price pivot and oscillates a bit and then it runs. There's another lightning bolt right there. So you can just trade lightning bolts all day long, or you can trade the full reversals. Now, if you're into trend following, you'd be a lightning bolt trader. Or pullbacks where we go from green to red back to green when the grid MA is cyan colored. So back in alignment with that. Pullback, lift, back in alignment with that. You can quick scalp those. Just more kind of setups you can look for. There's a beautiful lightning bolt. Big, nice linear push. The indicator has a kink in it, goes back in the intended trade direction. Those are the type of setups that you could quick scalp. Or the pullback, a little red, back to green. Pullback, little red, back to green. Pullback, little red, back to green. And these are okay too. Deeper pullback, back to green. The grid MA stayed aqua or cyan the whole time. Actually, that was a heck of a rally that day. So that's what I like to see. When it comes to, buys and sells, let's take a day. So we're just looking at some different patterns of price. This is stuff I like. We come up. If I remember, there was some sort of a level sweep in here. Oh yeah, there was the level from the other day. We just swept that level, and then look at how clean the red portion of the cloud closes below the MA. Get in short, stop never more than most recent price pivot, or the least. I mean, you wouldn't want to put a stop any less than this. The top of the indicator of the grid cloud in relation to that signal. Just like here, if I got short here, another wondrous setup. The closest stop, the farthest stop. And let's expand that a bit so you can see how clean those signals were. Oops, let me go back right here. I just want to expand the chart so you can visually see it real good. See, that's pretty good. I got both lines of the cloud inside of price and the grid MA. Both lines. This one's really inside. So that means it ran up and then snapped and started accelerating to the downside. And I do like this because I had a level sweep that I showed from before. Initial slap down, we run up, and then we rotate lower. I now have a big M pattern for the setup, and the market's just shown me a lower pivot high. So it's stair-stepping lower, and off she runs. So that was a good setup, for somebody wanting to be a seller in that overall look of things. Later in the day, it tried to grind up, tried to grind up, tried to grind up, and then it gave another sell signal. Very clean sell signal, the pattern I like to see. And it worked its way down and then scrubbed around a bit. So once I see a market start doing this garbage and I'm in trades, I just move my stop way down, and usually I get blipped out pretty quick. But at least it's like I'm going to make something on that. If they're going to start grinding around, I'm done with it. Sorry, there's a cat by me wanting to know what I'm talking about. Yeah. When I see this stuff, it's just grind. I just completely get out of the market. As soon as I start seeing cyclical rotations that are either sideways or either a shallow direction to them, shallow up, shallow down, barely descending, barely ascending, I just get out of there. That's all institutional manipulation going on. Here, what they're doing is they're basically there's people that are buying the market and they're selling it and driving the market lower, very likely to push price down to a level where they want to buy. And see, look back, yeah, they wanted to make sure the market got down, flushed out these levels, then they were willing to buy. It's always games. Institutionals, since they get to play with Fed discount window, or they play so many games in the markets nowadays, it just kind of gets old some days. It's like, who on earth wants to trade that crap? If institutionals were not able to play with Fed discount window money, you'd almost never see price action like that. So the faster somebody can come in and say, "Hey, investment banks, you no longer get to use Fed discount window money in the markets," those grind up days like that, they'll come to an end. There'll be very, very few. Or the rare occasion we get a grinder down type of day, that will all come to an end because they're not going to have the extra liquidity to come in and work these type of moves as they're trying to drive price to a certain level before they turn around and be a buyer in a down move or be a seller in an up move. They get it up to a level and then they sell it. Oh, wow, look at that. Just wondrous big fat W pattern, then the pattern of the cloud over the MA, and we're off to the races. So these are all food for thought type videos just to get you looking at some additional ways where you can attack the markets. Let's cover settings real quick. Okay, the indicators. Let's go to the grid cloud. We covered that one. Let's go to the grid MA just so you can see. I'm at a 9 2.7. So 9 2.7. And then let's see, I'm on an 88. So I'm on an 88 for the grid Renko. And then the swing on this particular one is, I think I'm sitting about a 33. Yeah, 33. So just so you know at least how I had my chart all set up. So anyhow, there you go. There's some additional ways you can combine some of the iGrid system indicators to get in and mix it up with the market. And I don't know, maybe this will work for you. All I know is I made some videos back and I talked about the videos, I think, the last 2 weeks. It was called something to the effect of indicator patterns. And I was showing different ways to use the Heikin Ashi. Holy cow, did I get a ton of positive. I mean, I was getting 7, 8, 9 emails a day there for 2 weeks straight. Oh, I love this. And oh, look at that. That was a hit. So it's like, and I've had some people too, why are you putting out all this stuff? And I'm like, hey, I'm a musician. I like to make music. When I write a new song, I'm going to put it out. And maybe I'm writing a song that's just something simple, where I have my songs that I really worked on that I wanted to be my big hits. I spent weeks on those or months on those. So, I'm just putting stuff out because in the end, if it's something that can help somebody, then that's what it's all about in my book. So there you have it. 2-part video series on the grid cloud, and just play around with it, try it on different time frames, and mix and match with the indicators and dial it in so you get that visual efficiency that helps you see setups that you can right away go and execute trades on.